I don't know if I fully understand it. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely some brain rot type of music, bro. But it still kind of works. You know what I mean? Like for the most part, like he pretty much just like mumbles on the in the pocket and shit like that. Like I'm not gonna complain about it because it's some old head shit, but it's I just don't ever see him going mainstream with the sound. You know what I mean? I mean, he could maybe pop off with like Little Pump did. You know what I mean? Because he pretty much made the exact same brain rot type of music, bro. Literally the exact same, but just maybe 5 to 6 years later. Overall, I think the project is pretty fire. You know what I mean? But I would just say it's very experimental, like to the point where it's like you almost have to like train your ear to really grasp the artistic part of the project, bro. You know what I mean? It's very, I don't know, you almost have to kind of listen to, I don't know, just listen to music for the last 3 years of the underground to really adjust your ears to fully understand it. And it's very Whole Lot of Red, Take a Trip as, you know what I mean? It's very deriven from that sound, and just very much, it's a very much evolved version of a Whole Lot of Red, I would say. It's just very experimental. I would definitely say it's, like I definitely like it. You know what I mean? Like I definitely appreciate what he's doing. Would I listen to it like on a daily basis? Probably not. Another thing I would say is just like when I bump it in the car, bro, it's just like it just overwhelms the speakers to the point where it's just almost blown out. And I would probably say the mixing on it is probably not necessarily it. But I definitely understand this is kind of like the new generation of the youth. You know what I mean? I think a good example I'd like to explain, bro, is just that it's like JPEG Mafia music for the youth. And JPEG Mafia to most people, even Death Grips, is like almost unlistenable to most people. You know what I mean? So if I were to be bumping this with my homies, the new Shade project, bro, it's gonna hurt your ears. You're not gonna understand it. It's just gonna be a little bit too much for the ears to really comprehend. And I think a perfect example is he's the JPEG Mafia of the youth. You know what I mean? He's literally JPEG Mafia of the youth. It's just so different and unorthodox that it somehow works. You know what I mean? I do kind of think he sounds very much to Osama-san. Definitely sounds very similar to, or at least inspired by, Flexor, Osama-san's most recent project. You know what I mean? Bro, like when I first listened to Osama-san, Osama Season, I just didn't really, I just thought he sounded like a Ken Carson clone. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, bro, like he literally sounds like the song X and Sex just sounded like a carbon copy of Ken Carson from A Great Chaos and maybe some of the heavier tracks on X, like Freestyle 1, Freestyle 2, Freestyle 3. Just a heavy distortion. But it just sounds too much like Osama Season or Osama-san's Flexor, you know what I mean? But that's not necessarily like a bad thing because it just kind of shows the influence that Osama-san has. And I ended up really enjoying Osama-san now. Like I said before, it's just the mixing, bro. The mixing is just like, you just can't really bump it in your whip or even in your headphones without it just fully distorting and destroying your speakers. And to me, that's just like a really big problem. But for like a workout and shit like that, or if you have like a nice sub in your car, it definitely works. But for the most part, it's just mostly brain rot music. It's the Shade project. Like I said before, I do fuck with it, bro. Like, man, like you should definitely bump it, man. But like I said before, you just gotta kind of like ease your ears into it. Like I'll have it like in my playlist and shit like that, but it's just like it's such a big switch up. Let's see an example. I've been bumping the new Dom Coelho Destroy Lonely projects, and then when an Osama-san or a Shay song comes on, it's just such a big switch up to the mix of my playlist. And that's not necessarily like a bad thing. It's just kind of like listening to some R&B on your playlist, and all of a sudden like a metal song comes on. Just kind of depends on the person, if you know what I mean. But I would like to kind of mention, like, man, just the influence that Ken Carson has right now. He just has a huge grasp on the youth, you know what I mean? You got Osama-san, that's a clone, or at least a son. You got Shay. You got countless other people. And it's pretty much inspired by A Great Chaos, which I think is a classic. And A Great Chaos is inspired by A Whole Lot of Red, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of dope seeing it evolve and shit like that, you know what I mean? And I've seen a lot of people kind of say it's the Whole Lot of Red of the underground just because it's so unorthodox, like I was saying. It's just so different, and it's just extra like distorted. It does have a lot of hyperpop rage bass lines in there, and even the interlude track, what was it? The interlude track, which was called just Interlude. It was literally just like it sounded like a techno song. You know what I mean? It was really interesting. But it kind of worked though, you know? And I just wanted to kind of mention some of the songs that I really added to my playlist, you know? But for the most part, I've been more tapping into the Destroy Lonely project and Dom Corvio, just because it's gonna take me a little bit longer to really grasp just the style that Shay's really going for, and just how different it is. But I really like the song Saska You Made It with Shay, obviously. It's this Saska feature. I don't even know who Saska is. Sounds like some guy from Sweden, or I don't know, the UK. Very much like Young Lean inspired, and it's like his hook and his opening just sounds so good. It just sounds really good. If Shay goes in that direction, I wouldn't be mad at all, because I think that's probably one of his best sounding tracks. Hex on My Chest, It's Going Down, I like a lot out of the playlist. Pissy Coffee, I like to add to my playlist. Nunca Hazer Cocana, I think it's Spanish, I cannot pronounce it, but I like that one. Schoolgirl Sashimi, I don't even know if I pronounced that right, but I like that one. And then YDFM and MNM, I like that one a lot too. And then Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, that one goes hard. Cut Off Your Hands I like, and my favorite color is red. And for the rest of the project, it's just like, those are just the ones that really stuck with me and were kind of like, yo, like I'm putting this in rotation, putting this on the playlist. You know what I mean? But overall, like I really vibe with this project for real. You know, like it's very different. It's not really my generation of music. Like I'm still kind of stuck in the King Carson and Yeat kind of wave. So this newer, distorted, jerk style music, I'm getting used to adjusting to the switch up of the sound and it just being way more evolved. But I honestly kind of dig it. I understand it, and I think he's kind of in the lane of Lil Pump was like 5 years ago. Because if you listen to a lot of the lyrics, a lot of times he's just really just ad-libbing. He's not really saying anything. And I like Cardi for doing that too, and Ken and stuff like that, but he was just making noises sometimes. And I'm also a Young Thug like stan too, so like I understand using your voice for an instrument, and I think he utilized that pretty well, in my opinion. But I don't know. I think he could have a mainstream hit. I just don't think you'll ever become mainstream.